Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Oldenburg. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Ryan.
Here.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Keys.
Here.
Alderwoman Sanye.
Present.
Chair Velazquez.
Present.
Vice Chair Oldenburg.
Present.
Alderwoman Spencer. We have 6 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As this is the first meeting of the Special Committee on Reducing Red Tape for 2025 session, we have no minutes to approve. Board bills for review,
We have none.
resolutions for review.
We have none.
All right, committee discussion is today's agenda is a public listening session where the committee will hear directly from business owners and entrepreneurs about the challenges they face when it comes to red tape and city processes and consider recommendations for improving those processes. So today's meeting will focus on restaurants and each subsequent meeting will focus on a different type of business. So what we'll do is we'll incorporate feedback and recommendations and we may give you homework as some folks are very much willing to take on about how to update and streamline city processes to make it easier to open and operate. And I just want to say, as we talk about government being for the people and by the people, it includes businesses, right? So, ultimately is our goal that in order for the city to thrive and grow, businesses are a key part of it, especially local businesses. So we thank you all for being here. And before we get started, do we have any questions from committee members? I will take that pause as a no. So because we don't have a whole lot of people here today, we're going to open up testimony for up to 5 minutes. So Madam Clerk, can you please keep time? And with that, we'll get started. And we just as a housekeeping note, I think we'll hit that goal, but we'll need to be out of here by 4:15 because then the Charter Commission will come in as we keep on trying to streamline lots of things in our government this session. Amen. All right. Do we have folks who have signed up to testify?
We have Ms. Witt and Ewing.
All right. Ms. Witt, do you want to come on up
If you would
and
raise your right hand so I can swear you in.
you can just take it off too. I understand.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You have 5 minutes.
Is it green?
Yeah, it should blink green. Okay, there we go. I feel like I don't need this. I feel like I'm echoing. Do you need it still?
Yeah. We do for the people online.
Okay. Let me hold it down because I'm hearing myself twice. My name is Rachel Witt. I'm the Executive Director of the South Grand Community Improvement District, just south of Tower Grove Park. Represent about 50 businesses and been running the district now for 18 years. So I just want to thank you all for creating this committee. I think it's a great idea. And there's a lot of ways we can make this easier and streamline. I have had businesses cry to me on the phone, confused about the process, would show up with the correct paperwork and then told, no, that's not the form that we need today. And they're trying to run a restaurant, trying to run a business. Some days they don't even have a day off and they're trying to get to City Hall before they open their business. And they feel defeated. A lot of you might remember about over a decade ago when Square first got released here in St. Louis, we had an event at the Casa Loma Ballroom. And it was an amazing dialogue with small businesses on the good, the bad, the ugly in City Hall to open a small business. And one thing that was constantly being brought up was, why are things not automated online? Why do we have to come to City Hall? There should be a way on the city's website that you can upload forms and that other departments are connected. You have to run from one department to the next to sign off, then come back. This is not how we should be. It makes it very difficult and it scares people away. And so I think coming together and figuring out a way to streamline, to do things automated online. One of my businesses on Grand has a second location in Brentwood. And I know Brentwood is a small municipality, but they have an amazing online process. It has a green light, a yellow light, and a red light to tell you where you're at, what you need for your documents. And she said it was so easy to open a business and get going in Brentwood. And again, I know Brentwood is night and day, small little muni, but that concept that you can do something online. And I know we have a lot of red tape with other type of businesses, but this is the solution for everything. If we want more people to do development in restaurants and retail and et cetera, putting things online that you don't have to come to City Hall, even charging a nominal fee, I think people would be totally fine with. And I'm more than happy to put out a survey to the businesses on Grand when this moves further along. Let me know what my other colleagues that do what I do, how we can help and assist. I'm just not here today to give testimony and be like, solve this problem. I want to help. So let me know how me and my peers who run other main streets in the city, how we can assist you through this process and put out survey and anything else we can do. But thank you for doing this, and thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Ms. Witt. Do any of committee members have questions for Ms. Witt? I'm going to start in order of seniority, and hopefully I know that off the top of my head, but I believe Chair or Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Rachel, for being here today. I remember that event. It was huge. Quite frankly, the participation was off the charts. I think it would be a good idea to do something like that again, just because I think people got so jazzed up by the, having an outside event. There was such participation. There were such great ideas generated there. I don't remember if it was recorded. Do you? I think there's a good way to kind of look back into that. There was some folks like Jay Scheinman, who was at Square at the time and then came and worked for the city, who was there, that we could kind of maybe tap and see if there was somebody that took any detailed notes, get some participation, and or, just kind of figure out, at least to capitalize on some of those ideas. It's really unfortunate to remember back to that because nothing came of it. We heard all these great ideas and, very little was done as a result of it. Of course, COVID and other things took place, but thank you for reminding us all about that. Yep. Well, I think I was just before I was an alderperson. Yeah, you're right. So it was just about a decade ago.
Thank you. We got to get through the rest of any other
Okay.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard?
Yeah, I do. I just want to echo the gratitude for the work you did with that, and then hear any work that we can do to build off of that. What you mentioned during your comments about the comparison to Brentwood, I'm glad you did, because I hear that a lot in the commercial corridors that I have in the previous 26th Ward and now in the 10th Ward. And we've had some champions that I'm sure in the work you're doing that you have known, Rachel Laquier, and now we have Samantha Smugler in some of these areas, and they go above and beyond to be resourceful to these businesses who, quite frankly, make a choice here to go through these extra hoops that they have to go through in the city that they know that they don't have to go through just maybe across Skinker or across Eastgate for me on Delmar, in the surrounding areas. So thank you for making that public comparison, because I think it'll help us as we are down here trying to make some of the changes that we definitely want to make for the businesses that choose, again, to open up and stay here in the city of St. Louis. So I want to thank you again for your work. I want to sign up now for anything we do to try to put together and ongoing create those spaces for businesses here, as we not only reduce the red tape, but encourage them and court them to come and open up here in the city. So thank you again.
Alderwoman Keys?
Good morning, good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. I just wanted to say and I think they said the name is Ms. Witt, W-I-H-I-T-T? Hello, can you hear me?
WITT.
Well, Ms. Witt, I wanted to just say thank you so much for all of your comments, but more importantly, it is so wonderful to have someone like you come before the committee and say, I want to be a part of a solution and making a change. And you've offered the work of your heart and your hands to this. And I am so, so grateful to hear that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My pleasure. We are a team. If we don't work together and communicate, we'll never solve the problems that we're facing in the city. So it's my pleasure and honor to be here today and help in any way I can.
Sorry, Vice Chair Oldenburg, do you have any comments?
No, other than to thank Ms. Witt. She and I known each other for a long, long time, and she's done a great job there at the South Grand SID from its inception. So, Rachel, thanks for testifying.
Thank you. Alders Narayan or Sanye, any questions from Ms. Witt?
Nothing from me, thank you.
I'm going to be a real politician. I don't have any questions, but I do have comments. Well, and actually, maybe they can turn to questions. But first of all, me and Alderwoman Velasquez both sit over the South Grand SID, so it's totally not aldermanic code to have the executive director of a SID that I sit on. I first just acknowledge you for taking the time to be here. I know that you represent so many businesses, and I know that we're facing a lot of challenges and also have a time of opportunity. And so I'm just so glad to see you here because I think both Alderwoman Velasquez and I, because in part we represent the South Grand SID and also have the Cherokee SID, it's so vital to our communities and overall vital to our city that we push these initiatives forward. And I think legislators don't have all the answers, but we certainly do when folks like you come to the table who do the work every day. So first, my first part of comments, just thank you to you. And also, I don't know if the crowd can see, if folks at home can see the crowd, but there are some other business owners that are also in the crowd. And so just, you know, I'm happy to see you all because we can't do this in isolation or by ourselves. And if we do, it'll be ineffective. So that's my first thing is just thank you. My second thing, I think, like, obviously we're talking about small businesses. We've had the conversations about liquor licenses. I would love to know if you need more time, that's okay, because obviously this will be an ongoing conversation. But have you thought about, like, what do you think are some of the largest barriers that when restaurants want to open? I think we've dealt with the liquor license, but what are some of the other processes and things just to begin that conversation that are an issue that we can begin to think about and have our minds today as we have further conversations and talk about further action?
Well, if it's a restaurant, you have to have a kitchen, and the kitchen has to go up the vent, not out. We have a lot of restaurants that are grandfathered in, and when they closed and they're opening, we have one that's reopening soon. Everyone knows about Faux Grand, so I was on the phone with Mai the other day, but because they closed, they had to make all these improvements because they were grandfathered in for so long. And so there's a process with that and understanding that process of all the changes you need to make to a space that was in business for many, many years and their kitchen's not up to code anymore. So that can take a long time to reopen a restaurant because of that with the build out and the funds you have to put into it. So if you have a good landlord that's willing to assist with all that, but not everyone has good landlords in the city. So understanding what they need to do, and there's only a handful of like consultants that can actually help with building out a kitchen. I learned I have a lot of information I thought I never needed to know before, but there's only a handful of those type of businesses here. And it could take a while just to get an appointment and to do drawings and then getting that approved. So there's that with being a restaurant owner with a space. So sometimes you get lucky that it's move-in ready, and sometimes you don't, and the process can take longer and longer to get your permits and get going and everything. But yeah, and sometimes just coordinating when someone's going to come at this day and this time to do a walkthrough, and then fire couldn't make it, so you have to reschedule. So just knowing the layout and when they can come, and if they can't make it, rescheduling it, like online, it would be great. Like this day and this time, this person's available to reschedule. Like just knowing that, it's just making it easier and not as complex, and especially when you have to get certain inspectors to come through, and then you're waiting, and then no one comes that day. and you're at your vacant place that's not open yet, and you're like, I could have done other things.
Yeah.
So things like that, but I can go on and on with stuff with a list.
But it seems like maybe one of the things that your suggestion is just a simple point of contact list for if you're trying to get this permit, if you're trying to get this license, if you're trying to go through this process, here's the office, here's the director, here's that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we could do for sure as a committee. It's just like a directory for.
And also a checklist. Like if you're a restaurant and you're opening and these are the things you need to do. And then putting like how long it's going to take. Everyone knows the city's short-staffed and we're trying to do things as effective and efficient as everyone can, but just knowing, I think just being transparent and also that you don't have to run down here just to upload a form onto line to submit to be reviewed. And I just think getting the other departments talking with each other. I remember years ago, I was introducing two people who never talked with each other before from two separate departments. I'm like, how am I introducing these two city employees? So we got to make sure everyone's talking with each other too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I received that. And I think that's the good thing about having folks like yourself here. Because I think some of the things that I think we're missing are just, you spoke about that meeting being 10 years ago. If you want to talk about how much technology and using electronic communication has advanced since 10 years ago, I think some of the it's just that some of those things would not necessarily be hard for us to do as a city or as a board to kind of pass policy, but would just be something that at that time wasn't a regular. Now everything is electronic, everything is online. So, and I also heard you mention earlier, which I flagged, is the way that they show you the green light, yellow light, red light, as far as where you are in the progression of different processes. So I think for me, I think that's a good starter question. I don't want to agree with death and also get personal access.
Yeah.
I would just end by thanking you for that and thanking Alderwoman Velasquez for creating the space for you to be. And I'm sorry, Chairwoman Velasquez, let me get it right.
Thank you, Alderwoman Sanya. I think Alderwoman Clark Hubbard has a comment.
Yeah, I was just gonna back that up by saying that I know you already know about this, but for people that are listening, one of the things that the city has done, and they did it years back, was created the St. Louis City Business Assistance Center, and that's right now under the direction of an amazing sister, Aretha. I'm sorry, I want to make sure I say her name right, but that Small Business Assistance Center is just what you're saying. The problem, I think, still falls in the communication between the departments, but it's absolutely set up to be able to give you more of a checklist and a process on getting a business open in the city of St. Louis. Again, I don't want to take away from the experience and making sure that people know there is still the challenges in those departments communicating against each other, but the city has set up that office, Aretha Russell, the Small Business Assistance Centers, and we can make sure that we share that information as well on these platforms, and then help her and bring her into the communication with us on how we make that easy. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you all. I think my colleagues got most of my questions. I mean, my other just general question you mentioned, I know Alderwoman about barriers. Are there any other specific, and that doesn't have to be, are there any other specific things that you've seen? I think with the example that you cited with the kitchens, I mean, I think that's a really good one. I know that we've talked about the landlord issue at times for these businesses. Are there any other specific areas that you think that as we go through this session, with restaurants, I'm sure you'll have comments on some of the other topics that might be good for us to look into that you think that we need to kind of hone in on?
Well, it's not really with the red tape. What I see, it's like any business. Some people know how to run a business, some people don't. And I would love to see like classes for people to go to, social media, how to market your business, how to do curb appeal, how should your space look? How does your outside look? What's your name of your business? What's your decor inside? Does it really resemble we want businesses to be successful, and it just into today's technology. And I'm so blessed that I have a lot of immigrant-owned businesses on Grand, and it's an honor to represent those that I have. But a lot of them don't understand how to market, promote, And I know that's different with the red tape here, but I just wish there was something when they do go to the Business Assistance Center, which everyone uses, that they can sign up for some classes to help them be successful, and like maybe partnering with some different chambers or like that, that hey, you might want to learn about this. Just figuring out what program you're going to use for, processing payment. That can be really difficult. So I just think having, we want our businesses to be successful. We want businesses to make it, because statistically 50% of restaurants don't make it their first year. It's just the reality that's in this country. But what can we stand out in St. Louis to make sure our restaurants are successful, and giving them those tools and how to be that way?
Great. Well, thank you. Oh, we've got one more question for you.
Okay, I'm sorry. And this question is because I actually do know you and I come to the board meetings and I hear the issues, but I think, I always want to show how interconnected conversations are. So one of the things that I know we've had in the South Grand City community, Cherokee City community, is issues with folks who maybe have mental health challenges or unhoused. And I know that we even held a Smile Round Table with Greater St. Louis, and we talked extensively in that conversation about the need for kind of more resources in that area. So, I just think that's something that I would love to hear you maybe say in this space, however may be appropriate for you, because I think it is something that I get a lot of outreach out from business owners, such as, folks who are within our CID, which are not saying we just want to get rid of people, but are saying like there's also a need for us to support folks so that we don't become the de facto supporter because there's not necessarily other services in place. Would you mind just, if you want to talk about kind of what you've seen businesses experience or anything that we've discussed in our roundtable discussion, that would be helpful context as we talk about the challenges that businesses are experiencing as well.
I mean, today is about red tape for restaurants. I'm not sure how unhoused relates to that, but
Well, not just unhoused, like what we talked about a lot was mental health, or just in different services. In general, in our city, like something that the police department is doing is we have now officers respond to social services calls. So I'm just saying, like, kind of a part of the difficulty, and maybe it's not true, but part of the difficulty that I've heard is that businesses are dealing, I would not say unhoused, but just with how you deal with vulnerable populations that you're forced to have interactions with because you're in community and they come, or just anything just to know of what the city is doing that has been helpful, because we have developed, like I said, there are officers who respond
yeah.
a plethora of calls or anything, but I know we've talked a lot about kind of public safety in businesses. So I'm really seeing holistically that window of anything that would be helpful in this space as well.
Well, a while ago, we reached out to St. Patrick's Center, and they came, met with a lot of our restaurant owners, not just restaurant owners, any business owner in Grand, because they wanted to know, like, if someone was having a mental health moment, how to handle that. Like, besides, who do you call? Like, doing like role play, like, this is how you can handle a situation so it doesn't get out of control. I mean, we had someone who passed out in the foyer of a restaurant, and the business owner didn't even know someone was there because you couldn't see where it was. And so it's like, just calling 911 doesn't solve that. Like, how do you calm down your patrons? Someone passed out, like understanding that. And like, they're just trying to run their restaurant, and not, I mean, that's a lot to take in for anyone to understand. It's even hard for social work to handle a moment when someone's having a mental health moment. So I think, that'd be great for any training, when they're going through the health department to, for setting up their kitchens and everything, getting that. That'd be kind of great if there's, for new businesses, doesn't matter if it's a restaurant, whoever you are, that you interface with the public. That would be cool. That would be great to have workshops that they can sign up and go to know, like, if, even if your staff is having a mental health moment, how to deal with that. I mean, even teachers today, they're more than educators. They're basically social workers in school. They want it, like, they're being told. I have friends who are teachers. They're being told, like, it's not about educating. It's making sure that you're okay. So it's kind of like that. You're right. In the realm today, whoever walks into someone's business and they're having a moment, or employees having a moment, knowing how to handle that in a way that, that's not aggressive and is supportive. And so yeah, I think more workshops are better to educate businesses on that they can go to and be aware of. But it's up to the business owner to want to take that olive branch to go. But I mean, making sure the health department's informing them, making sure the Business Assistance Center is letting them know about any workshops for marketing, or decor, like, we do a windshield survey on Grand. I just met with 2 retired architects, and they survey the exterior and the interior of all the businesses, and we give them a report card, and I try to find grants to help them if they need to make improvements. But not everyone has a Rachel. Not everyone has a CID or like that. So it's like, what can we do more to support our restaurants and our small businesses? And I mean, groups are doing this. We just got to collect the information and make sure we're getting the word out to let people know where they can go to educate themselves, and also better their business. So I agree, that's a great idea.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Witt.
Thank you.
All right.
Our next speaker is Steve Ewing.
I'm sorry, I had before we moved on, I was trying to click back in.
Do you have another question, Alderwoman Keys?
Well, more of a comment, and maybe yeah, it's probably more of a comment. One of the things that I see as concerning about businesses and restaurants in the city of St. Louis is that they are limited in size to something like 4,000 square feet. I think that we are missing the mark when we begin to limit what a restaurant can be. For example, if we look at the Foundry, it's a huge space, ton of different restaurants. But that's in I guess like a mall-like setting. But when we look at other restaurants within the city's purview, they are limited to 4,000 square feet. Having a bigger space allows for the opportunity for maybe that restaurateur to take on partners in terms of having a pop-up business come in and assist, or even have other caterers use part of that space, which would also generate money here in the city. So basically, that's the comment that I have. We need to take a look at limiting, and why are we limiting? Because the goal is to generate revenue for the city, to provide good restaurateurs and businesses for our city to help to grow our economy, but as well as to help to grow commerce and travel and tourism here in our city. And limiting it to me is counterintuitive. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Narayan.
Thank you, Chairwoman Velasquez. To address what the Alderwoman from the 11th is saying, I think there may be some misconception, or else I'm really missing something. On the restaurant's square footage, I believe the Alderwoman from the 11th is talking about last session's Board Bill 60, the excise bill, in which we defined restaurant as being a 4,000 square feet or less. But that was not to say that you can't have a restaurant that's larger than 4,000 square feet. That was just to say that was to address the concerns that places would be nightclubs and trying to have a very large footprint and not go through the traditional plat and petition process. So there's nothing that I'm aware of that prevents a restaurant from being much larger than that. And in fact, I can think of a few that have reached out to me and had even asked during the drafting of Board Bill 60 to make the square footage larger. But ultimately, as a result of the discussions we had with various neighborhood associations, we landed on that number. So I just don't want anyone out there to think that that they're prevented from opening up a restaurant as large as they can, assuming it's zoned appropriately and you have all the right permits and all that. The only downside would be that you would have to go through the traditional plat and petition process for your liquor license. I just want to make sure that people are aware that we absolutely want and encourage restaurants of all sizes. So with that, I'll yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Keys?
I just would like to respond and say to the alderman from the Fourth Ward, thank you so much for the clarity in addressing this particular comment. I do appreciate having greater information in all areas because it's going to help us all the way through. Thank you again.
Great, thank you. Thank you again, Ms. Witt. Mr. Ewing?
Hi, Mr. Ewing, would you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you, and you have 5 minutes.
Oh.
That happened at.
I don't think your mic is on.
Yeah.
It should be green.
Okay. So I was in attendance.
I think we have to swear.
He swore.
Yep.
Oh, you did, sorry.
You swore him in, right? Yes.
Let me sure.
And one of the reasons why I attended was because I had just opened my first restaurant, Steve's on the Hill. And I recall the process was just really, really, really difficult. And I was a new business owner, didn't know what I was doing, going down to City Hall to register. And so I just kind of got what I felt like was a runaround. I went to multiple buildings, multiple rooms before I really even got started on the process of registering the business. I've done this like 4 or 5 times now, and so I've gotten a little bit better at it. But what I noticed for some of the new business owners and small guys, I've seen it, and today I actually saw it. They come in to rooms that they don't know what they're doing, and I just want to feel like I want to help them. And I do go to Miss Dorothy. I go straight to Miss Dorothy these days at the business assistance office because she helps me get through it. But still, we end up spending quite a bit of time here at City Hall when it would be great if we could, get online and register the business and really just check off our list of things that we need to have and email all those things and just kind of get moving and get all the inspections going. One suggestion I have is, or one thing I notice is that building and safety and fire and all those guys don't talk with health and all that are 2 different separate things. And so the things are not always as they seem at the health department either. So a lot of questions I have that they can't answer. So I would like to see just more things happening at the health department with the rest of the city on getting occupancy. That's kind of where I'm at. That's what I have noticed over the years. Yeah, like I said, I go straight to Miss Dorothy. I go to the business assistant's office. She's great. So in the meantime, maybe like in a shorter kind of period, maybe we can really beef up that office and have more people in that office and just send everybody straight there and just get them going through the process until you guys get a website going. But I think really doing this whole process online will be the best way to do it.
Great, you have a few more minutes, but
That's where I'm at.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ewing. I'm going to open it up for questions from committee members in order of seniority. Alderwoman Spencer.
No, I just want to thank you for your business and, continuing to expand. It's exciting to see all you're doing in the city, and really your desire to help out new folks is very noble, and we're all very grateful for it. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I hate seeing people that are really excited about opening up a business in City Hall sort of can be deflating.
It really
and that is I think that's the word people often use,
Yeah.
and it's really discouraging when you've put all this money, heart, sweat, tears, and everything else. My folks were restaurateurs when I was a kid, and it bankrupted them. It's a very daunting thing to do.
Sure.
And, we appreciate that you're doing it. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Oldenburg.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. I'm sorry, Alderman Narayan. I read that, then Alderman Narayan, any questions?
No questions. Just want to thank Mr. Ewing for his contributions both to the music scene as well as the culinary scene here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Clark Hubbard.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to echo the gratitude as well, Mr. Ewing, and thank you for your continued commitment and choice. I want to make sure that we all keep that in our forefront of our minds, that people make a choice to do business here in the city, even through the challenges. And some of your challenges have been very public. And so being able to see you still succeed and thrive and grow here, welcome to the party over in the Makers District, right? I can't wait.
Yeah, right.
I can't wait to get my first hot dog over there in our neighborhood. But I do just want to make sure that whatever we can do to continue supporting and the efforts, and I agree 100%. Here, when I opened a business in the city of St. Louis, we didn't have a small business center. And I know Ms. Witt brought up the chambers. I know we have the Heartland Black Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and others that people can go to, but they don't even know about those as well.
They don't
You
know
kind of
about-
get thrown off the porch with this, and being thrown off the porch in City Hall is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So again, thank you, and thank you. I want to make sure that people heard your willingness to even reach out to people that you see struggling now. Some people get it and gone, but you
Right,
want to
yeah.
give back. So thank you again for that. I agree we need to do what we can to support that Business Assistance Center in the interim and continue their work. And again, I can't wait to see you cut the ribbon and eat my first hot dog.
Thank you.
Well, not my first, but my first in the making.
On Delmar.
Well, we will share that in common because he is a restaurant in my ward. Now he's got one in your ward, in other wards, probably in Alderman Aldrich's ward. Alderwoman Keys, do you have any questions or comments for Mr. Ewing?
No, Mr. Ewing, just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for doing great business here in our city.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Alderwoman Sonier.
Same thing as my colleagues. I would echo a thank you. I am new to Alder, but so much of you opening your business has been public. So like, I know that you started in 2011 with a hot dog shop. And when I was going to run for Alder and I found out that Steve's Hot Dogs was in the city, I was so excited about that, to get to know you all on a more personal level, because I do think like much of your story is about the ways that, like, as a community partner, you've done your part, but you've faced obstacles from the city because some of our outdated, antiquated processes, which is nothing new. I think everybody would echo and say that, but I feel like I've gotten to kind of learn about that before I had a policy perspective, just from your personal stories and experiences that have been public. So thank you for, sharing that. And also, I'm obviously going to also thank you on behalf, like, I know you, as a business, you do a lot of events for St. Louis Public Schools and different community efforts and fundraisers. So I just really appreciate you being in our community, and especially the way that you host community events and kind of use your business to add to community, which highlights the importance of this committee and the work that we'll do. Because if we can make these barriers be less, we can help your work to be more expansive. So I'm just looking forward to all of us working together to grow those efforts.
Yeah. Yeah, like with the smaller ones that are just starting off, it would save a lot of money. Like if they're getting started, they're hemorrhaging cash. If they can get open, get their doors open, and start making money as quickly as possible, that would be better. That would be. So if there's a way to send everyone to the business assistance office right away, because that's what I do now. And then maybe in the meantime do that, and while we get a website going. I really want a website. Awesome. Cool.
Well, I've got some questions for
Yeah.
you. So thank you. I do want to echo my colleagues for all the work that you've done and all you've contributed to St. Louis. As an Urge fan from when I was young, but I digress. So a couple questions. I'm going to kind of ask this in reverse. It's like red tape in reverse. Obviously, you've been successful. I know that there were some probably moments where expansion wasn't possible, but you're expanding. So what are the things that, at least in the context of red tape, that helped your business be able to expand that we could learn from?
Well, I gained a couple of business partners, and I can split this work up between more people. So basically, that's what I do these days. Is with all my businesses, is I come here, I come to City Hall. Like I was here this morning, so that's kind of my deal with our group. Is Steve goes to City Hall, so because I know and they know that I've been here so many times, and I kind of know how to get through it. But a lot of small guys or beginners they don't know it, and it's scary. So, maybe we can get, like I said, get that going. But yes, we have a lot of people we can tackle these tasks by splitting it up. That's what we do.
Great. And then you talked about more communication with the health department specifically. Can you kind of expand on that, or things that that we could again look into just from your perspective
Sure.
that might make it more smooth for other
So,
businesses?
You come to the city and you fill out your paperwork for like all of your state stuff or whatever, and then you take that to health to set up health inspection. But the city hall here sets up all of your other 5 and 4 inspections, and they're just 2 different things. They come at separate times, and they have their own. You pay a separate fee to the health department than you do to the city. So it would be nice if there was just one deal where we just paid one fee, which is fine. Doesn't matter what it is, just one fee, and then it all kind of works together, and then it gets scheduled, and then you can schedule around it. Like when the inspectors are coming, and then you can have a manager, or you can have people ready for those inspections, and then you can move along. You can get ready to open up. You can schedule opening. You schedule opening days, like big opening days are big for paying the rent. If you can make those schedules, that's great.
Great. Well, I don't have any other questions for you. Thank you so much for being here.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
I'm sure I'll see you on South Grand or at the gym. Madam Clerk, do we have any other folks on the list?
We have none. No
Is
more.
there anybody else here who'd like to testify? Is there anybody online?
No.
All right, going in 3, 2, 1. All right, well, with that, I think that we will conclude this listening session. Thank you both for being here, and thank you all for being here. We'll have a series of listening sessions in the coming weeks. Next week will be minority-owned businesses. Let me look at my list over here. We have minority-owned businesses. We have food trucks is another day. Special events is all right. So minority-owned businesses, May 13th. Food trucks, May 20th. You all want to come? And what's June? Small businesses, June 3rd. And special events, June 10th. So we'll be doing this. So tell your friends. We don't bite. We really just want to hear from people. I mean, it's really important that we all get a sense of what you all are experiencing versus just trying to legislate from some theoretical perspective, but really understand how you grow and what we can do to make it easier for you. So we'll be around for this. Obviously, all our contact information is online. And with that,
May I make a suggestion on some of the outreach? All of these businesses, whether they're restaurants or small businesses, have business licenses of some kind in the city. Would it be, and many of them have gone through the Special Business Assistance Center or other mechanisms, it might be worthwhile to ask our license collector or other entities within the city to email the folks that they have in their database and let them know that we're having these meetings so that we can help to break down, get a wider range of participation. Since we are already, should in theory have contact information somewhere in this building for those folks.
right, that's a great idea. And I think during the duration too of this session, we'll also be having a license collector on things that they're working on. But that's a great idea to reach out to them to see if they can do some additional outreach for us. Great. With that, does anybody have any other announcements? Do you want to testify?
You can. Anything that you say, you'll have to testify, so you can. You'll just have to come to the mic and get sworn
It's really not a big deal.
Or you can talk to us afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can talk to us afterwards. So if you want the public to hear you, they can come up to the mic
And testify.
and testify, or you can talk to us afterwards. Okay.
Madam Clerk, can you, and we're,
Hey, can I have your name, please?
Do you mind using the microphone?
you have to use the mic so the people at home can hear
Okay,
you.
could you hold your right hand up, please, so I can swear you in? Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Could you turn your mic on, please?
And could you please tell us if you live in the city and if you represent a business or a business? If you live in the city and if you represent or a business owner or a business entity, just so we can have.
So I live in Chesterfield, and I founded Abaita, which is a platform to support home cooks and small businesses to help them launch their businesses and to empower them. And exactly what he just said, that they're going to have one place, that they will have to know resources and where to go, what we can do, and all of that. So I knew about this meeting today through Balsa, through Gabriela, but I wanted to know how other people would know about these meetings, because that's exactly what I wanted, to support them, because I know many home cooks or restaurant owners and people in this industry that I know that they didn't know about this meeting, and I think they would be able to, to bring their own ideas and opinion, their experience. So maybe for the next meetings. So that's exactly what I wanted to ask. I don't have something to add to your previous protocol, but that's what I wanted to ask. I don't know why I'm doing it that way.
Great, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can talk after the meeting. I mean, we reached out to several chambers of commerce as well, and I can share the information with you afterward. And typically, when we do testimony, so this is a public record, this is a public meeting. We typically do it in, you present, then we'll ask questions, and it's not like a conversation, just because this is how the committees work. But I'm happy to talk to you, and we're happy to get more information and see how we can invite more people for the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So.
All right. Do any other committee members have announcements?
Yeah, I was just gonna, I pulled up the Business Assistance Center that many of us have mentioned today, so I just want to share the number for people that might be watching. The number is 314-622-4528. That's 314-622-4528. It's here in City Hall in room 421. And I love the sister that got up and spoke today. I just want to make sure that that's what what these committee hearings are for, and this is the only opportunity for constituents and neighbors and stakeholders like yourself to engage in this process. So thank you for getting up. Thank you for everybody else that stood up and spoke today, and please encourage your networks to participate as well.
Great. You, Alder Lady? Do we have did we have everybody here today? All right.
Yes, everyone's here.
So no need to excuse anybody. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Oh, right. Yeah, we gotta take roll call.
Oh, we did. We took roll call at the beginning.
Roll call doesn't need a vote, so it's not an aye. But I don't think you need a vote to adjourn. You can.
We don't. Would you like to vote to adjourn? Can you please call the roll so we can adjourn?
Alderman, Vice Chair Oldenburg.
I think
Alderwoman Spencer.
No.
you want to stay here all day?
Alderman Narayan. Chair, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Sanye.
Aye.
Chair Velasquez.
Aye.
Vice Chair Aldenburg. We have 4 aye votes.
Great. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.